Sexy motherfuckers, we have Tyler Wilson, Option Drops Trading. Did I say that right? Yeah. So we got Tyler in the house. You guys remember the last time I had Tyler here? It was a fun show. So yeah, Tyler. Before we actually went live, Tyler was showing me Think or Swim, some really cool things. So Tyler, you want to go ahead and touch up on that?
All right. So for the past 4 years, I have been on E-Trade. I know a lot of people use Webull. People come to me all the time. They're on Webull, on Robinhood. They're like, what do I trade? What do I do as far as that? And the first thing I recommend, and I know Gabe uses Webull, but we talked about this before this. I was like, if you're trading options, your best friend is going to be TOS or E-Trade. I think TOS, though, I just made the switch literally this morning. I'm telling you right now, it took me from – I would say it's already made me better in a way because the way you're seeing real time options, customization, overall information, the data. I mean, I think you want to have a desktop to use it, but overall, making the switch. I don't have an affiliate link or anything like that. This is just me using it. Major improvement when it comes to it. So if you're a full time trader, look into TOS. You can start paper trading on it first. You don't even have to. They have free paper trading on it. So do that if you need to. And there's plenty of videos out there that are free on YouTube showing you how to use it as well. I fully recommend making the change.
All right, all right. Fully recommend making the change. Well, I use Webull, and as my broker, I trade off of TradingView charts. Individuals in the Discord, they trade off the TradingView charts. I love TradingView because of its versatility with indicators, but I hear TOS has just pretty much every indicator under the sun. Is that correct?
Yeah, and you have people in it as well that are using it that are uploading their own new indicators and things like that can code it in as well. So there's a lot of really cool ones. Like there's a custom volume one that someone from Discord just shared with me. There's just tons of stuff, and you can just share it really easily with your friends as well. So like if I have a whole chart set up, I can literally share it to you if you have TOS as well. And it'll give you every information that I have on the chart, and it'll actually follow you live as well. So huge improvement, things like that.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I know you guys not used to me going live here, right? Um, you got Miguel in here saying, "I don't go deep." Yeah, you just beat the shit out of the sides, don't you? Okay, so all right, Tyler, what has been your go-to play this month? What have you been really looking at this month?
So we just talked about this as well. And if you followed me on Twitter and things like that, it's been over the past year. I think it's been a lot of growth stocks overall. And I've really made the switch as of, I want to say the beginning of March, roughly. I made the switch into trading primarily higher caps. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking like Tesla, Amazon, Apple, some others as well. And I know when you hear those, people are like, dude, Tyler, what are you talking about? I don't got $3,000 to be trading. And I get it. It sounds like it takes a lot. It takes a lot. But you can trade one very close or, about $50, $100 out of the money if you have to. And you can get those more affordable. And the biggest misconception is trading is like, I need to have 20 contracts. You don't need to have 20 contracts when you're trading any stock. That's kind of ridiculous, especially if you're trading for fees. Personal example, this year alone, I paid over $10,000 on E-Trade and fees. I will probably post a screenshot of that on Twitter so everyone can have that information. But I literally paid over $10,000 alone this year in trading fees. So as far as that goes, if I would take less positions and maybe more a larger, something more expensive, the actual option contract, I would have spent way less, right? You're also going to get better fills, things like that. But as far as trading Amazon, Nvidia, those, you're getting better moves and they're more volatile, and you're also going to be able to get in and out of a trade more often, in my opinion. That's just how I've been doing it. It's been a weird shift, but again, if you're familiar with the channel, it's been all about volume. And as of lately, I think the big caps are getting most of the liquidity and most of the volume. So that's me personally. I was trading a little bit of SPY, but I've kind of stepped back and looking more again at the bigger names as far as FANG.
All right, so thanks. So Facebook, Apple, Netflix should be Nvidia. Then you're looking at Google, and what else?
It should be Nvidia, but it's Netflix.
It should be
That's
Nvidia.
really good.
Yeah.
I've been keeping it really simple. You always hear people talk about you should only focus on one, two, or three stocks, and I was kind of against that. But in a market like this, if you go back to 2020, 2021, you were sitting in a permeable market. Basically, I could get $20, throw it at a wall, and chances are, whatever stock I landed on, I would make money on that stock. It's different now. It's far different if you're looking at the market. You're not able to just throw money at a wall and their stocks can go up. You actually have to pick and choose when you're getting in, when you're getting out. The market's turning more bearish every day when we look at yields, inflation, things like that. So you have to kind of protect your equity as well. So as far as me, I've been keeping it real simple, not going over the top. Less trades throughout the day as well. I've been cutting back on the amount of trades, just higher quality trades as well.
Okay. So, man, talk about interest. Looking here. As of April 12th, the average rates on a 30-year fixed mortgage hit 6%.
Is it 6%?
Six 6%. Yeah. Just
I didn't know it was
data.
that high. I know I saw they released yesterday. They said it was like 5.33 or something, which is still really high, don't get me wrong. If you go back to January,
Yeah.
it was at 3.2, I think. So you're seeing, pretty
Yeah, here you
large
go.
increase.
Take
But
a
yeah,
look here.
that's insane.
Yeah. 6 point. That's pretty wild, right? If someone's going to go ahead and just do a general search on Google, like interest rates, that's the number they're going to find. You see, in that chart. Obviously, they'll go ahead and do their due diligence, go straight to the bank, but that's ridiculously high. So, rising interest rates, um, with that, it has an inverse relationship with like prices, right? So, we got rising interest rates. Do you feel like the housing market is going to destabilize or, enter a downtrend along with the market?
Okay, so that's a really interesting question. So in my dad comes from he does real estate development, and so I'm actually looking to get into real estate and find properties, but I just think right now for me and myself, it's just like I'm just waiting it out before I start putting some of my liquidity there. As far as the market goes, though, I think this has been a real question, and people are saying, housing markets are going to fail, they're going to crash, they're too expensive. I don't think that's the case, actually. So I think when we look at what's happening right now, it's a buyer's market, or
Yeah.
it's a seller's market, right? So
Seller's
basically
market.
means
Yeah.
I can go to list my house, and if you're looking in places like Washington or up north, where the markets are they're a lot higher priced and there's less overall supply. When you look at those, if you look at TikTok or social media, you can see that realtors are posting videos where there's literally, 20 cars lined up outside the house, right? And I think that comes back to the point of showing that not only are houses, the value rising, but you also have crazy amounts of buyers. So I think that lines back up with people, one, are wanting to spend a lot of money right now, and two, you're running out of houses to sell. That's the really big thing. So when it comes back to
Yeah.
that point, I don't think that the residential houses or residential homes are going to get like affected that bad as far as homestead. So like if Gabe lives in a house, right? That's his homestead. But if he has another property, that's not his homestead. That's his investment property. So
Yeah.
from a legal standpoint, it is much harder to foreclose on your homestead where you live, where your family lives, where your child lives, to go to court and be foreclosed on than it is his investment property, right? Even if he has someone living there, it's very easy to foreclose on. It's very easy to get hit on that and those are the ones that are going to be foreclosed on heavily. So when that happens, I think it's going to be heavily affected by investors that are tied into, you know, builds. Price of lumber is very high right now. Those are going to be the ones that are affected. And I think it's more on the investor side. And I think buyers are just going to slow down. People aren't going to want to buy. So I think as far as the price of houses, they're going to stay high because if you look at it from an inflation point of view, if the dollar value is decreasing, what does that mean? Houses should be increasing in value. It's
Yeah.
just that simple, like what's happening. So I think to throw out the window of, oh, look, value is going to just dump on houses. No, it's not just going to dump. It's not going to happen. You might drop a little bit, but overall, it's not going to dump. That's just how I think it could. And I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
to race, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, market conditions are, soon to. to be seen, and hopefully we don't see it at all. But real estate tends to 6 months after, so 6 months after the market shits, real estate usually goes with it, right? You start seeing how it
Yeah.
starts to affect real estate 6 months later. So that's really interesting. So I'm just going to go through the comments really quick. Hey Tyler, I live in a shoebox. You're fucking right. Yeah,
We live in
people
a
people are
shoebox here.
just like yeah. See, that's the thing, right? So Tyler, you can shoot shit at me. I'll shoot shit right back at him. We got thick skin, right? The rest of you fuckboys, you're just a bunch of sensitive little fucking Cinderellas. Like that's what's up. Now, somebody also commented that I was pumping the scheme on AMC coin. No, I wasn't. I was just sharing the article. That's it. Like, holy shit. You know, Whenever I say something that is not an agreement to the community, I'm a fucking paid shill. But the thing is that as long as I hold, whether you guys like me, love me, hate me, or like, love, or hate Tyler, AMC is not going to give us a call and say, hey, look at, because, you know, you set this, that, and the other, your shares are going to be devalued somehow. I'm still going to the fucking moon. And anybody holding AMC is going to go to the fucking moon, right? So it's just really a sit and wait type of situation. Now, going back to Tyler here. Um, okay, Tyler, Tyler. You're not really one for speculation, are you?
As far as as far
Speculative trading, like what? Okay, so what's run rampant through the community is just speculative trading, right? And people go based on etch a sketch charts and just gut feelings, that kind of thing, right?
yeah,
When
no. No.
like fuck those guys. What I want to know is just like when you're preparing for a trade, what are some of the things you're looking for, right? Like for instance, my neighbor, can't say too much of him, but he works with JP Morgan, right? And so we
Yeah.
talk, you know, and he is purely a fundamentals guy,
Yeah.
right? So, cash values, et cetera, the formulas, proprietary formulas, et cetera. But how are you looking at your setups? How do you prepare for your setups?
So I think the foundation of every trade for me comes from one, looking at futures. I live and die by the Nasdaq. I'm constantly watching it. I think that if you're not trading futures, if you're not watching futures, it's very difficult to assess the risk and overall trend of the market, right? So every night, for instance, I'm making a video, right, and I'm going over how futures are moving going into the next day. So I have key levels I'm watching, everything like that. Now that might not mean that I'm trading based on those futures, or trading those futures, but I'm going to be trading based on them. So going into yesterday, I was like, we ended the day on the Nasdaq and SPY at a huge resistance. Going into tomorrow, I expect downside. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at my same plays I like for downside pressure at specific strikes with volume and all. I'm always looking for high volume on options and open interest. Volume is probably most important because I'm looking to get in and get out. Open interest is going to give you more of a long-term scale of if you're looking at some type of like gamma pressure and things like that, as far as you're looking at cheddar flow or unusual wells. That's going to give you a better viewpoint of that with actual open interest. But if you're getting volume throughout the day, that's just going to show you that there's a lot of buyers stepping in. When you're looking at something like oil or something like that, that's going to be volume's going to be more important for longer viewpoints because typically people sit into oil or commodities a little bit longer. But as far as something like, for instance, Amazon today, Amazon the 30/50s had about 10,000 worth of volume. That was like a few hours ago. Who knows what they're at now? When I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of traders there. That's something I'm interested in. That's a strike I'm going to be looking at. Then I go and look at the chart and I'm looking at one, is there volume on the chart? Is it moving up or down based on low volume? That's going to tell me, is there actually people trying to control it? That's going to give you that overall answer. And then I'm watching key price action points that I already have previously marked on the chart as well. And that's really it. I mean, I have a few other, the 9 EMA, that's going to overall show the trend in which you're moving. And then I have VWAP and my daily, monthly, and weekly opens. My chart's clean besides that. There's no, for me, I mean, I think you can use crossovers and things like that. But right now, I think volume is just overall, we were talking about before that. I think volume's king. Volume's going to tell you if people are actually trying to move. For instance, the move you just had up on, I'm looking at SPY, very low volume. You're moving up, with very low volume. You can see your CVD, the cumulative volume delta. Also, it's moving up, but very, very slowly. And then when you start pushing back down, volume stacks back in, which means what? That sellers are in control today. Yesterday, you moved up all day, but the volume was extremely, extremely low, which I mentioned in the video as well. I was like, dude, we're moving up with no volume. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't really need a lot of volume to push up. It's like, for instance, if I'm going to war against another army, do I need a giant army? If they have 5 troops, do I need to have an army of 3,000? I mean, I would overrun them and we just go straight through them. It'd be a lot quicker, but I don't really need it. I only need a little bit. I could probably beat 5 guys with 20 guys if I'm really thinking about it. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, it's all relative to how much volume, is on the other side as well. So if it's just a low volume day in general, you don't need mass amounts of buying pressure. But that's what CVD gives you a good example of as well. So in short terms, I'm looking at price action, looking at volume. Super simple. I know it sounds really simple, but there's a little bit more to it than that, of course. But yeah.
All right. Okay. So these are good points, guys. Listen to fucking Tyler. Don't listen to Atma Kalsa. There's no real fucking research there, though. Dude, you spent too much time sniffing that paint, bro. Like seriously, man, just chill the fuck out. Right?
sniffing that paint.
Too much paint right now, man. Like Charlie's vids. Like I don't really care for Charlie's vids. No need to fucking name drop. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. So just behave, or you get the boot, right? And yeah, dude, just go fuck your mother. Anyways, all right, let's keep going, man. All right, so Apple. Apple seems to be the elephant in the room. Okay, and this is the problem with Apple. Now, Apple should be going to the moon, right? I feel like Apple has sort of kind of created an island for themselves, right? They're building their chips in house. They're doing all this stuff in house, right? So I guess their exposure isn't, let's say, like the Nvidias or the AMDs or whatever, right? But Apple's sitting on a shit ton of cash, a
Yeah.
shit ton of cash,
From a
right?
fundamental viewpoint, I love Apple. Did you see what they're doing with their Apple Card and things like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's incredible. So, I mean, Apple kind of taking over the world, but yeah, Apple, no one's talking about it for some reason. It's a beast. Um, but I think it also comes back down to, at the market, it's like, okay, for instance, there's a lot of people here like that love AMC, right? They're like Tyler's the gay bear. That's what I'm known as, the big gay bear. But when you're looking at stocks, you gotta look at it from a really transparent and non-biased viewpoint. Like, I love Apple. I love SoFi. Like SoFi, love it. Like long term, I love the stock. If stocks were green at all, I think SoFi would be my stock of the year. Like I think it would be phenomenal. But I can't complain that my stock is going down if every other stock in the market is also dropping. You know what I mean? So if SPY is tanking, in my opinion, and there's fear on the market, it's kind of like, of course, people are going to be selling. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just the way it goes. It's like, and that's personally how I'm viewing it. Um, and I think it's really hard to come to that point, especially when you're looking at Apple, because you're like, dude, there's no reason. They're like, I mean, I look at it and I'm like, there's no reason Apple or Nvidia should be getting hit this bad. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what are we talking about? Like, these are the
yeah.
kings of their sector. Apple just announced that they're basically becoming a bank. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
pretty much. Yeah. But see, one thing that Apple has that, I mean, the war chest of cash, right? So for a lot of years, investors and analysts, they were like, Apple, what the fuck are you doing? You're not mobilizing your cash. You're not putting it to work, right? And so here we are in like this market right now. And this is the market that's going to separate the boys from the men, right? And so, I mean, uh, where do you see Apple going? I mean, like in let's say the next year or two, do you feel like Apple becomes like, the king of the crop, or do you feel like we might see AMD just come like an underdog and say we're here, boys?
I think personally for me, I think it all depends on the way our market continues to move. Um, and I think that we are on the hunt for a recession. I think we're due for one. We were due for one back in like pre-COVID. We were due for one.
Yeah.
I think that the scale of our market was kind of, we've been over the past 5 years, we've been pushed to spend your money. And it was kind of genius. If I'm not pro Trump people, so relax. But it was genius in the sense of getting our market strong was getting the American people to spend their money, encouraging them to go out and buy what they needed because you had a good job, or you were making more money, right? And that was good. That was good for the market. However, we had COVID, inflation was going, it was a recipe for disaster. We were due for one. And when we handled COVID, our answer was to print as much money we could possibly do, and we kept doing it. And
Yeah.
so you're seeing yields invert. I sent you a picture on Twitter too. I was gonna say to share it, but my screen was gonna be all fuzzy. And I said last night that that is the most important chart of 2020. And basically what's happening is you're having yields, and the big yields you need to be watching is a 10 flipping over the 30. That's the key indicator. And you're having us being put into some sort of recession. And I think that it's going to happen soon. And I think that if we go into this level of recession, you need to have you need to create a chart and say, these are the stocks that I want to buy when shit hits the fan. That's what I think people need to do. And I think Apple's on there. I think Nvidia is on there. I think Tesla's going to be on there. It's all these big stocks that are really expensive. You just create a watch list and start weekly adding into those. Not financial advice, do your own DD, but that's my plan for those. And I love Apple. I've told everywhere I go, I'm like, guys, I'm gonna show you right here. I tap on my phone anywhere I go. I don't even carry a wallet anymore. It won't even let me open up my Apple Card right now. Everywhere I go, that's all I need is the Apple Card. That now won't work. Well, Apple, you're screwing yourself. So, literally anywhere and everywhere I go, I'm literally using my Apple Card. And now they're adding it to where you can put your ID on there. Think they're talking about adding crypto on there as well. And they're going to be doing all this in-house. So all of that is just like, I think Apple's queued up for a massive, massive run if indexes can stay afloat. That's the big if, is like, can stocks not tank? If they don't tank, Apple's on there. Apple's going to reach new highs. You know what I mean? You're not far
Yeah.
away from it.
Well, I share that same sentiment. I want to give a shout out to STV Got Wrench. He sent a super chat for $4.20. He wants to know. All right, Tyler, what's your thoughts on SQRT? Squirt.
Score it. Is that actually a stock? I actually looked.
Man.
I looked. I really did.
It's not actually a stock, man. It's LMNOP. So,
Bro, she squirts. He's a keeper. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say, man. It's a rare breed.
oh man, dude. So I got a few fucking degenerates. That's my style, right? That's my community. I love them, and we just shoot the shit, and we try to just not make this shit so fucking intense, right? So we like to have fun here, but yeah, man. Wow. All right. So we got Apple taken care of, right? We got Apple taken care of. So what are your 4 or 5 like primary stocks that you like to trade? Now we had talked about this before, where you really didn't agree with the sentiment of like having, like your 3 or 4 faves. Now, what changed that for you?
Yeah. So again, it comes back down to, and I say this often. So like when I have my bad months, I think it's really big. Like on Twitter, I'm always like posting. I joke around like, look, moon tickets, boys. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Like, we're just always joking. But it's like, I make it very like clear to post when I'm doing bad. The end of March, I did not do good. Like up until March, I was riding the wave. I was all in on oil. I told everyone, I was like, guys, get your oil. This Russia, Ukraine stuff, it's gonna happen. In January, I was telling everyone, people were like, Tyler, get big gay bear. We're not going to war. World peace. They're like, Putin, that guy loves America. He's basically American. He loves Ukrainians. And then, obviously Putin comes on and says that Ukraine's a bunch of Nazis. And I was just like, it's crazy. Try to tell y'all. And guess what happens? Oil goes to the moon. Guess
Yeah.
what? Made a bag, whatever. Now, the problem is I stayed with the sentiment of we should not be going up. I was like, the Fed's going to raise rates. We should not go up. This is bearish. This is the worst thing in the world. Everyone knows
Yeah.
Fed raised rates. It was a low raise. I explained what happened, and then we went to the moon. We just went crazy. And I was just like, and I was one of the guys that was still like slamming that short button, right? I was like, bro, we're about to fall any day now. And I was like, dude, what's going on? And so what I do when I'm like having that bad type of run or whatever it may be, because you're going to have a bad run, everyone's going to go through it. Again, that's like the biggest part of trading. When you go through that bad run, I recommend one, turning your computer off. That's the first step. Get rid of all your drugs, flush them down the toilet. So you're going to step away. But also you need to come to the point.
No, we're not flushing shit down the toilet. We're keeping it for tomorrow.
Keep going. You need to come back and just look at what you did. So what I did, and I'm in Discord and stuff. I'm like, guys, I'm not trading for the next 3 days. I took 3 days off. All I did was post charts. And what I did is I just realized what I was doing. I was like, bro, like the charts to me, they were clear. They were clear that you were going to run up. You were mounting every level of support. You were making key levels, continuation. And when that started to happen, I was just like, I was so blinded just by like we can joke around and be like, AMC apes are going to 20,000 or whatever it is, right? And it's just like I was kind of blind, and I was like, we have to dump. There's no reason to go up. But it was clear the charts were telling me what to do. And so when I took back, I was talking in Discord, and the guy I have running with me, he's primarily all he trades on his charts. He literally only trades Tesla and Amazon and maybe Nvidia. Only stocks he'll touch, really. Every day I'm like, dude, this guy only trades 2. And so I started looking at him, and I was just like, these are the ones you need to be trading just because they're getting the movement. You're going to make the percent gains. And so I was just like, I had to adjust my method, because when you're looking at smaller caps like Peloton, and I was trading a lot of Peloton, I traded Neo a lot. I'm trying to think of some of the smaller caps, Penn Gambling, things like that. I like those. Those were my bread and butter from 2020 to 2021. And it's just different now. Obviously, you look at those small caps and they don't move like they used to. You know what I mean? It's like it's like Kobe once he turned 35. He just wasn't the same. It's just like you still love him, but you can't. You're just like, yeah, Kobe, we're not going to win a championship no more. So it was like that, and I just started pivoting slowly, and I just started adjusting to what the market was giving me. And I think that's the hardest part of trading, is just coming into it with a clear mind like that, as far as saying and being able to say, look, my thesis is wrong. I got to adjust. And you got to realize that everyone comes to that point of like, I mean, if you haven't come to it, you eventually will, Gabe. You're eventually going to come to the point and be like, Gabe might be a bull at one point, and he might flip like I got to change. Things changed on the market. I got to adjust my viewpoint. And that's the biggest, I think, twist in trading, is like being able to make that change. And it's, it comes back down again, the AMC or whatever with that. It's like people hated me in the beginning. I get it. They still do. Yeah. People still hate me. They're like, Tyler trading options.
Yeah, dude. I think I'm well hated as well, and I'll be more hated after this comment. So Charlie Polly's back in here. He's again just saying he's going to report me to the DOJ. Review douche. Like these are wild fucking claims. Listen, Charlie, right? Your dad's going to get real pissed off at you when his girlfriend's boyfriend loses his house. Right? Because I'll come after you for fucking harassment, right? How you like that, man? Well, I'm not. No. Seriously, no, not even. Right? You're not even fucking worth my time, bro. Just keep it moving. And then you got Charity, Chatty Factory. All right, guys, look at Charlie Chatty. You guys might want to go ahead and listen to something and actually learn something, because men like Tyler and men like myself will eat your fucking lunch in the market. We will eat it up, and then you're just crying, wondering why you lost it all. You lost it all because you're a fucking cunt. Anyways, let's get back to it, man. Rock and roll, dude. Tyler, do you got a fucking favorite lunch? I know STV is always fucking eating chicken cutlets. What are you fucking eating for lunch, man?
Eating lunch. I call Allie in here. I'm like, hey, Allie, I need a sandwich. And she brings that sandwich right there with the White Claw every day. I'm just trying. I mean, honestly, man, it just depends the day. Some days, again, like I'm just like, if it's just like not moving, or like if it's a choppy day and I'm just like, I need to not trade, I'll get up and like go. I mean, honestly, Popeye's chicken sandwich, it's the wave. Like I know people Chick-fil-A, all this mumbo jumbo. Popeye's chicken sandwich is the wave. You haven't had the Popeye's chicken sandwich? You ain't it. I don't know what to say. It's
Yeah,
the
dude. Yeah, you know what? In Hartford, in Connecticut, my mom lived in the North End, and Popeye's chicken sandwich was like maybe about 2 blocks away, right? I'll tell you what. I don't know if it's just corporate decision making, but I tell you what, Popeye's chicken sandwich is worth dying for. Legit. Because they just only seem to be in the fucking hood.
and it's made with love. I mean, you can't replace it. And then they give it to you with like the worst attitude ever. I've never been to a pie place where there's like good service. They're just like
No.
they hate you. They,
They're totally like anti Chick-fil-A, like swear, right? So
they're the people that hate on us on Twitter. They hate their life, they hate their jobs, they're stuck, and they just don't know what to do. And I'm just like, can I have my sandwich? Like, please. That's all I want.
just fucking sandwich. Oh, we got Church's chicken. Have you ever had Church's chicken, man? It's
Hell
pretty.
no, bro. What are y'all talking about? That's the worst chicken on earth. Literally the worst, bro. That's the worst chicken. Look, again, I'm probably gonna be called racist. It's like a white person went in there and made it and put no seasoning on it. I mean, I always joke around with Allie's family. I'm like, bro, you can't be making my chicken with nothing on it. Like, just put in salt. Like, no, you can't just make chicken and just put a little. Like, what are we talking about? It's the worst thing in the world. Don't even pass. That guy, lock him up immediately. Like, straight up, lock that guy up. Honestly,
Oh
who is that guy?
man.
I gotta remember that guy's name. I cannot believe he just said that. That guy said we eat Wu-Tang pie. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Hey, attaboy.
Oh man. You know it's bomb. I don't know if you ever had it. Fucking White Castles. It's bomb.
We don't have them. We don't have them in Texas. We don't have them in Texas. But you know what is? You know what I'm telling you? People are gonna hate me here. People are gonna be like, Tyler, you lost your mind. People in Discord tell me all the time. I went to Oregon in November, and I never had Dutch Bros coffee. Have you had Dutch Bros coffee?
No.
They don't have it in Florida. They don't have it in Texas. Well, they just started making them in Texas. It is going to put Starbucks. I don't know if it's going to put them out of business. I'm not going to say that. But as far as the millennial wave of going to Starbucks, I guarantee the millennial and Gen Z all go to Dutch Bros within the next 2 to 3 years. Guarantee it. Starbucks is going to – I don't know what it is. I tried it. I was like, okay, this is good coffee. It's good. It's literally it's crazy. Have you traded the stock? The ticker symbol is literally bros. It's built for us. The ticker's
no.
literally bro with an S. I mean, come on. I mean, if you're a douche, you gotta pay attention. I mean,
it's perfect fucking ticker.
it's literally the only. It's actually above its IPO price right now, which is crazy. No stocks are above their IPO price right now. It's actually moving in an uptrend still, which is kind of bizarre, but it's pretty insane. I mean, if you look at their business model too, it's a really good business model. But yeah, Dutch Bros. Everyone's here if they've had Dutch Bros, they're gonna say it too. Someone even says like crack. I don't know what it is. It's amazing. And then they hire like millennials will work there for like subpar like wages. It doesn't make sense. It's like it's cool to work there. I don't get it. It's like a little cult. I'm like okay. It's like when
No,
someone
man,
says,
they're making $18 an hour right now. They're making more than teachers, man. You gotta.
it's like if someone says I've been holding, bro. I'm like, you know what's cool in holding? Taking some profits. Like, you know what I mean? Like, keep that to yourself.
Oh man. All right, local urban. I lived in Chicago for about 10 years. Portillo's is the shit. I'll tell you a funny story, right? So Chicago, no ketchup or mustard on your dogs, right? So coming from New York, right? You get a dirty dog, right? It's just piece of sausage coming out of murky fucking water, and they're like ketchup, mustard, like yeah, like sauerkraut, the whole nine. Like fuck it. So I'm in Chicago and I'm like, hey, can I get a hot dog, right? And so yeah, they're loading it up, and then I'm like, hey, ketchup, dude. They could have killed me that day, dude. I swear. They're
Man,
like,
they have we used to go to Houston when I was like right when I started college. They had this place. It was a food truck. It was a Korean. I think it was like Korean. I don't know, Korean like hot dogs. And now they have like a few franchises going on. Man,
yeah.
best. I need to. I'm gonna go there probably this weekend. I'll take a picture. Best hot dog I've ever had in my life. If you're in Houston, it's called Yo-Yo's. Dude, best hot dog you ever had in your life. If you're in Houston, it's amazing. I eat like 4 of them. Not even lie. I sit down, I grab 4 of them, go to town. Sleep like a baby every time.
Oh damn! Oh damn! All right, so we're talking about food. We're talking about food. Speaking of food, McDonald's. Like, okay, so this is just my theory, right? When the market goes to shit, you'll see like the WalMarts, the Targets, the McDonald's, and the Coca Colas, and those guys. You
Oh, it's
start
the
seeing
sector. It's the sector. Yeah.
just goes right back up, right?
So
Um,
we can talk about that too if you want. It's
go for
Buffett.
it.
Buffett's really big on it. He's
Yeah,
if you look at Buffett's portfolio, a large chunk of it is it's called an economic moat, right? And if you're on my channel, you probably heard this so many times. You're getting tired of it, right? But the sector is XLP. It's basically consumer. What's it called? Can I think of the word? Consumer staples. And look at
yeah.
XLP. Look at what's happened the past 4 weeks since the market's dumped. Just take a quick look and prepare to have your mind blown. It's gone to the moon. You're reaching all time highs actually on XLP. So consumer staples, Costco, Target, those are going to be your big boys. Um, yeah, Target, Walmart. Target's really lagging if you look at it. Target has great viewpoints too, great growth as far as when you look at e-commerce, they're booming.
Yeah,
And they haven't even reached back to full capacity in their stores. So as far as fundamentally, Target's really set up for major growth. But like Costco and those are really, and Costco and Walmart are doing good. Walmart, if you don't know, they have Sam's too, which a lot of people forget about. And small businesses are flocking to Sam's and Costco with the help of companies like Instacart and things like that, because now they can just get all that delivered to them. It's where they don't have to go like to Cisco,
yeah,
SYSCO. So now they're changing and it's really hurting companies like Cisco. So when you look at those staples and economic moats, it's the easiest way to describe it is what's happening now. You're having inflation happening, you're having the market going down. But what are companies, no matter what, that are not going to get hurt? It's companies that people are going to have to go to every day. People have
yeah.
to go. I mean, you can get as poor as you want, but you still got to go to Walmart. You might not be able to go to Target, but you're going to have to go to Walmart. Like, you know what I mean?
Touche. Yeah, yeah,
You have to. So these consumer staples they thrive. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, that's why Coke is at all-time highs, which is honestly just when you think about that, you're like, how? Like, why is Coca-Cola running to an all-time high? Because no
yeah,
matter what, their prices they're going up. Every Coke, the price is going up.
yeah,
There's no slowdown on purchases. COVID's over. COVID was your slowdown. If you really look at the fundamental viewpoint of it, the fact that Coke, the sales dropped drastically because they were in house and they were trying to eat healthier and all this crap. But now everyone realizes eating healthy is stupid. You're gonna die anyway. So you're like YOLO. I guess if you can die from COVID, I might as well just die with my Coke. So you have that going crazy. And then you just, again, like, it's just these companies that are just thriving. And so like, and when you have an economic moat, it's basically like, think your portfolio is the castle, and a moat is when they would dig it around their entire castle or wherever their main fort was to defend. And you dug a giant trench around it and filled it full of water, because if someone got in water, you were just going to kill them real quick. It was easy to defend. And so when you have this moat built around your portfolio, it's these types of stocks that protects you when your stocks go down. So companies like tech, and the way they leverage their positions and leverage their accounts is they're going to move maybe 50% of all their stuff into stocks like this, which are heavily protected, and then maybe 25% into riskier assets, and then like 30% into mid-level risk like Nvidia, Apple, FANG stocks like that. And so these are basically covering for their whole accounts. Some people are saying there's a liquidity crisis and you're going to get margin called. Well, slow down, because if you really look, they're not dying like you think they are. That's why companies like, Melvin Capital, for instance, they had a terrible year, but that's why, they're like a hedge fund. There's very few hedge funds that focus on one niche like Melvin Capital. See, people want to talk about Melvin Capital losing all this money past 2 years. If you go look at the past 10 years, they've been one of the best and most profitable hedge funds ever. There's a
yeah,
reason that people don't know. Stephen Cohen is the one that helped them get founded, arguably the greatest day trader of all time. He founded all these hedge funds. And, when you look at this, they're not just the liquidity crisis. I hate hearing about it because most people don't know what they're talking about. We had a
yeah,
liquidity crisis in 08. We don't have one right now. Banks are protected. That's why Wells Fargo, you look 2-3 years ago, you remember they shut down all those credit cards?
yeah.
They're protected from a liquidity crisis. They're not going to get screwed. Banks, these market makers, they are heavily shielded. And it's based on these, is it fair? Not really, but you signed the papers. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read the 20-page, infomercial from Wells Fargo when I sign up with a bank account. There's no way.
No, no,
But
I just want to go to ATM, pull out cash, and go to the strip joint. That's what I want to do. That's what everybody wants to do when they pull out a credit card. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. And okay, so actually, you actually brought up something interesting. Well, we got caught up in a great conversation, and Tyler, you're killing it right now. But when ramen, like we go to a recession, I want ramen to go to the moon. Get me the ticker symbol on fucking
Dollar
ramen.
Tree's
That's what I want.
what is Dollar Tree even doing?
Like,
Dude, look at Dollar
I
Tree. I mean, this is the best performing stock right now, actually. Jesus Christ. Dollar Tree since, I mean, basically the Russia war going on, you've gone straight parabolic. You've gone from 120 to 170. I mean,
Jesus.
all in on Dollar Tree, YOLO. Like what? Like, I mean, but again, like if you really just take a step back and you just kind of like look at the market from like a common sense point of view, you'll kind of be like, it's kind of like common sense stocks. Like I always tell people like, what stock should I buy for my long term? Like friends will tell me like, what should I buy? I'm like, bro, just take a step back and think, what do you use every day? Like I told my dad that all the time. Like, well, what do you like? And he's like, I'm like, where do you go every day? And like, it's a rhetorical question. I know he goes to Home Depot every day of his life. He goes there almost every single day. They know him by heart. Everyone, every employee there, right? I'm like, bro, look at Home Depot the past 2 years. You've gone just straight parabolic to the moon. Like, you know what I mean? Just like look at stocks that you use every day. Or people thinking about recessions, like, well, if we're going into recession, what companies are you going to still have to go to and use? What
Yeah.
companies? Logically thinking, I'm going to go to the dollar store. Just take a quick look at Dollar General and Dollar Tree. They're going to the moon. Like, just take a chill pill. So I think there's always opportunities. And I think it's sometimes we overcomplicate them as far as, especially long term. Long term, I think we really, really overlook some of the stuff happening. But day trading, I think you have to be a little bit more meticulous and calculated with your decisions. But yeah.
Yeah. Talking about that, we talk about Dollar Tree. You want to know the exact inverse about this. And guys, this is all about using common sense, right? So, Chewy, for example, right?
Yes.
So, more dogs get put up for adoption during a recession. More pets get put up for an adoption during a recession than any other point in
I
time,
didn't
right?
even know that. I didn't think of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
True.
So, a stock like Chewy might get hit. And we're looking at the ticker on Chewy. Let me go ahead and bring this up.
It's gotten hit.
Um,
I think,
it's got hit.
oh, dude, Jesus. Yeah, Ryan Cohen. Why ain't no one talking about this? No wonder he went to GameStop. Jesus. I'm just relaxed, guys. I'm just joking. Relax.
like when the going gets tough, it's like fuck the pooch. We're eating the dog tonight, guys. That's what we're doing. Put him on a fucking rotisserie. Put him on the back, and it's just like, yeah. Here's my donation to
Someone
the
in
local
chat goes, I
Chewy
stay
account.
at Dollar General. Hey, it's hard out here. Jesus.
Fucking wild. Fucking wild. Okay, so what would be your play of the year, you think, in your mind?
Man, honestly, so again, like, I mean, first beginning of the year, favorite stock. I mean, not play of the year, favorite stock. It was SoFi. If I had to pick a SoFi for something for growth, and that's if, and this is like hard to explain. So like, if I'm making like, for instance, if I'm making a video and I'm talking about stocks I like, right? I'm very clear to say I don't own this stock, I don't have this. These are just plays I'm looking at, right? And so if
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from that perspective, I love SoFi. I love what they're bringing to the table. I love the overall growth potential. But if the market's getting hit like this, right? And if I'm looking and I'm seeing SPY every day getting railed, and I don't think that the trend has really changed, should I start adding to my long-term portfolio if I see more massive downside? And I think that's a really hard point for some people, but for me, I'm going to be greedy about it. That's how I've been trading, pretty greedy and pretty stingy as far as looking for profit margins. And so I'm just waiting. I'm sitting on the sideline. Now, as far as looking at the market right now, and I'm gonna, I think you're gonna pull the chart up, and I think you're gonna be absolutely mind blown. If I'm looking at this, I'm going full boomer. I'm going, and everyone here knows I hate ETFs, I hate boomers. But look, the best the best play right now from a technical standpoint and the safest play is gold. And it's not even for inflation. It's not because I think, Bitcoin's to be worth as gold. If you pull up the chart right now, XAU, USD, that's the actual spot gold. I'm going to send it to you on TradingView. I'm going to send it to you on Twitter real quick, and then you can
All
pull it up
right.
if you want on
Yeah.
you can
Let's
pull
do
it up
that.
on TradingView. XAU USD. It is a basically this is a 2-3 year 100%. There's no doubt behind it. And I never say these words in my mouth. It's a cup and handle. It's one of the most bullish charts you have ever seen in your life. And I think that it is very set up. And I think people are thinking like, well, Tyler, how do I trade? How do I trade gold? What do I do? Oh my God. There's plenty of gold stocks out there that you can go look at for yourself. But that is a textbook cup and handle ready to absolutely shoot off. And looking at any gold stock based on the run that you've just started to have, you can look at them. You can look at F&V. These are the bigger ones. Franco Nevada, F&V. You can look at AUY, Yamana Gold. That's a big one as well. You can look at GLD. They're all over the past, on the daily charts, they're going berserk. These are just crazy. They're crazy potential. They're safer plays. Do your own DD, not financial advice, whatever. But like, as far as me looking at those, just that whole sector in general, you can see, and people are like, well, we're back in risk off. I'm like, what are we talking? No, we're not. We're not in risk off. The dollar value is consistently getting killed. Inflation is real. This thing is set to absolutely rocket. And you can look at that chart. I'm not making it up. People would look at it however they want to. But I'm going to tell you right now, that is one. I think gold, as far as safety and confidence levels, that'd have to be my top chart if I had to just give a broad viewpoint. If there's things that I really like longer term, as far as like tech and things like that, I think Nvidia is coming to a great place. They're probably dipping a little bit because they're going to have that, the dilution on it, but they're going to make acquisitions and they're setting themselves up for long term. I think, Amazon stock split. Guys, and when Amazon stock splits, that thing's going to be beautiful. I honestly, I kind of can't wait when Amazon stock splits. It's going to be one of my biggest. I'm going to pick it up immediately. Google's, I never trade Google. Google's going to be a cool stock to trade once they actually get it, when it's not $4,000 to trade it. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so as far as actual movement on the year and like having confidence in saying we're going to go up further, it has to, for me, it's gold. It's the only thing I can look at and say, I think no matter what, you go higher. Besides that, I'm extremely worried about the state of the market. And people are saying right now that inflation has topped. I think that's a stupid statement. I think that the Fed made one rate hike and they have 7 projected for the rest of the year, or 7 total for the year. So 6 more. And if you think that this negative reaction is all that's going to happen from 6 more hikes, I think you have lost your mind and that you've been in the market for less than a year and a half, because you never see what happens when rates get hiked. Typically, you get some initial reaction, specifically when yields are inverted and inflation is hitting us. People are like, well, back in 2016, when we hiked rates, we went up. I get we did, but inflation wasn't at these levels. Inflation wasn't at, the highest level in the past 30, 40 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these are all things you got to take into account. And it's just like, I think you can, that's the important thing too. People are like, well, Tyler, you're saying don't buy any stocks. Not what I'm saying. You can make money. Like, I'm going to trade Apple throughout the year. I'm going to trade calls on Apple probably. I'm going to trade calls on Nvidia and Amazon. I'm going to. But the overall viewpoint of the market, I think you have to just be like, I need to take a step back and maybe be a little bit cautious and concerned, because there's probably downside across the board for longer term viewpoints. So when I'm looking at, I don't like to hold anything overnight right now. I don't hold. It's like, people are like, well, futures are green at midnight, and they wake up and like, oh my God, what happened to my account? I'm like,
dude, I agree with you 5,000%. That's one of the rules that I share with on the Discord. Try not to hold anything overnight. Like you're just asking for trouble, right? But I want to go ahead and look at this here, right? So you talked about a cup and handle. Now you guys know me as the 1348 guy, right? And so we got a couple of levels here, and we have this cross here, so it's a call, right? So we're going long. And all indicators are suggesting, like, hey, over the long term, you may see a run. Now, we got some resistance here at 2076.74. And looks like we found support somewhere down here at 1878. Nope, nope, nope. We got another level here at 1920. So what I do now, Tyler, I in the Discord, I call this rim jobbing, right? So we're rim jobbing the 13 here. Right. So you got this 13 here, and what you could see is price action literally rim jobbing, right? Reaching a high here and then just sort of kind of consolidating right along to 13. And then here we go. It makes a move back up and you got this continuation of a rim job. Now, when we look at RSI remains elevated price action above the 200 EMA. Mind you, I'm on the daily here. You got the shaft trend cycle signaling green, MACD moving to the upside. And I only trust the MACD when you are above neutrality, which is 0.00, right? And everything just looks a go. So, Tyler just blessed you guys with a fucking gem right here. And just looking at this here and looking at the chart and zooming out, he's hella right. You do have the cup and handle. And yeah, there's money to be made, man. Good shit. I like it.
The important part too is when you're looking at how it's really important to look at dips when they're happening too, and seeing what's really happening. And that's something like I've really put an emphasis on in my trading the past month or so, is volume when you're dipping. If you're declining with a massive dip in volume, then it's telling you there's not really that many sellers there. Now, if your volume starts to spike as you're dipping, then you're like, okay, I should be concerned. People are actually getting out of this, right? And I think that's one of the big things with gold is you're seeing massive declining volume. I mean, the volume really was getting hit to the downside. It's very, even on the daily chart, you can see. But if you look over the past year or so, volume is increasing still. So this is telling you that this bull run is actually established, it's relevant, it's real. And then when you get these minor dips, you're seeing the volume stagnate or dip. You're like, okay, well, this isn't too much cause for concern. Now, volume can be a little bit deceiving. You have to look at some other indicators as well. But, looking at that, it leaves you more confidence. And if you start to get a big volume breakout here, the last time you had a big breakout was back in May 2020, June 2020. You ran like crazy looking at gold. So those are just things that I'm looking at. And, again, I'm not saying, trade this, you're going to make tons of money, keep it on your radar. But as far as longer term things, that's the only thing that has me with any confidence. And that's really where you have the confidence is going to keep you in a trade.
So, basically, yeah, what Tyler is saying is that you got a massive fleet of safety, right? So the money's still there, but the money isn't where you thought it'd be, right? So, January, but we were all speculating January, starting January, we would see all the small caps start popping and, like it was penny stock season. Usually that's what happens at the beginning of the year, right? They usually take over the first quarter. We saw that all of last year, right? Where people jumped into the likes of CTRM and all that bullshit over there, right?
Yeah.
But we did not see that this year. We did not see that at all. I think, we saw some little runs here and there at BBIG, which, by the way, what's your feelings on BBIG? I just really don't care at this point.
So I'm not a huge, as far as like I get questions every day about like Ader and, BBIG. I'm not a huge, small cap trader right now. It's just, again, like I'm just like, where's my opportunity to make money? And looking at the market, it's, in the bigger caps for me. That's just how I'm, that's how I've been successful. That's how I can minimize losses. Can you make money in like an SST? Like I gave the guy a shout out who found it. Like his name is Hoop Money. I was like, good, great find. This thing's gonna squeeze. Like it was a great play. It was a good thing. You can find those plays, but like as far as consistently finding plays, it's for me, it's just been the bigger caps, right? And so to each their own with finding them. Like, but as far as BBIG personally, like I think it looks good. Like the fundamentals behind it as well. It's heavily shorted, things like that, whatever. But like there's people in my Discord and people that like I really respect in my Discord that like love the play and they have strong fundamental viewpoints. I just don't do enough research on the fundamentals behind them, right? So like for me, it's like I have to pick and choose where I put my time. You know what I mean? Like, I have, there's it, like, you're helping people one-on-one with your Discord. You're doing Twitter, you're doing YouTube, you're doing lives. Like it's so much, and then you have to have time for your child. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like, how do you balance a life between that? And so that's the struggle for me. And it's like I just can't spend enough time researching that right now. It's just, to me, if I'm looking at the value, the cost of it, it's just not worth it for me to like spend that much time research, because I'm not going to go into it and spend 20 minutes, right? I'm not going to spend 20 minutes trading, like researching. I'm going to spend hours. I'm going to like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So like if I have confidence behind something, I got confidence in it because I put in the work to, find that confidence on it, right?
yeah.
And I think that's the thing for me. So BBIG, Ader, SST, whatever these other ones are, I just don't have the information. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
will they run? I think they look good. They're running. Ader's running. It's just like, is a TA going to help you? Probably not. Like, I can't give you a TA answer on a small cap. Like, it's like, I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you.
All right. So a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, right? But when it comes to pennies, right? I try not to invest a lot of time, resources, energy, anything, right? If it runs, it runs. You guys do the DD. You guys get the volume in there, and then I'm going to short it. For me, that's guaranteed. It's a guaranteed thing. All right. So, like that's how I look at pennies, right? Like it's not something that I've run up with. It's something that I'm like, okay, fine. You reached a peak. Time to go. Right. Because, when you build a following with, the CTRMs, the BBIGs, that kind of thing, right? There's great DD behind it, right? But it might not be its time. And that's the way I look at it, right? It might not be its time. So you have this artificial pump, simply through speculation and just like people just sort of kind of like swarming to it. And then what normally happens? People are going to take profit. So when they
Yeah.
take profit, I'm just going to go ahead and say, all right, yay, yay. I'm going to go to the downside. Now, speaking of playing to the downside, puts. There's a lot of talk about puts, Tyler. Now, I know you got to go soon. You got to go be daddy. And, he's one of the few good men out there who actually takes care of his fucking kid, you asswipes. Jesus Christ. All right. I salute you.
Having
I applaud you,
moments.
man. I
Yeah.
applaud you on that. All right. With that being said, we had, this talk about puts, AMC puts, that kind of thing. And people want to go ahead and receive that information and say, like, hey, it makes sense. On the surface, does it make sense to you?
Okay. So I'll give you my opinion on this really quick. And again, so like going into this, people were like, oh, he hates so and so or anything like, no, no, no. Like, anyone that I talk to, anyone in the community, like, they can talk trash about me. I mean, I'm not gonna like dig personal digs at anyone like that. But as far as when it comes to stocks and anything like that, I'll tell you if I agree or if I disagree. Right? Trading puts, is it gonna help the squeeze? That's what people need to realize. And like I think that's kind of everyone's like logic, or like what's the next thing that's gonna help the squeeze? What's gonna help us push to a new level, or what's gonna help us get to $70, $100? First of all, if you're thinking about it like that, you're not an investor. You're not investing in a stock at that point. You are praying, you are hoping, you are looking for an out. You're not, you don't really believe like something's gonna squeeze it like that. You know what I mean? Like people weren't making videos on GameStop before it squeezed. Was DFV making a video every single day saying, SEC needs to step in, guys? No, he was writing it out. He had hundreds of thousands of dollars long on GameStop. And guess what happened? It eventually took off. He ended up holding like $1 million worth or whatever. And then he became multimillionaire, lost his job because he did it. And so, looking at that, going to puts and stuff like that, are puts going to help us squeeze? There's no logical or fundamental reason for myself to think that. I've seen and went over and looked at, like, for instance, Trey's video. He had a video going over like 3 main points. I think that those 3 main points are logical reasons on how they could possibly be holding a stock down. But is there evidence to show that that's how they're doing it? No. So am I going to push out something like that? For myself, I'm not. It's hypotheticals. And if you know and you've been in my channel, I don't push hypotheticals. I only push things that I can see on my screen and I can show you guys. I've very rarely have said, this is something that might be going on. I don't really know. But I'll shoot it to you straight up. Like, I don't really know if this is happening. It's just like, it's like, This is a possibility. Take it with a grain of salt. Do what you got to do. These are the facts, though, what we know. And so when I'm trading based on facts, if I've been telling everyone since last January, if you want to make money every single day trading in stocks, specifically stocks, for me, any short term, trading options are the way to go. Like, it's pretty simple. Puts, calls, whatever you want to do. That's just the way. Like, it just makes makes sense. Like, I've been, nothing's changed over the past year and a half, however long it's been. Nothing's ever changed. But does trading puts mean the stock you're helping it go up, or you're going to beat the market makers or anything like that? I don't think so. I don't think it's like, that's just not how it's going to happen. It's just like you buy and you sit there and you hold, or you complain and you make up excuses for it. That's really all it goes. When I lose money on Amazon trades, do I say, damn it, they did it again. They did it again.
We need Amazon Optimus Prime. We don't have Amazon Optimus Prime. Release Amazon Optimus Prime. We'll go to the moon.
They short ladder attacked me again, Gabe. They short ladder attacked me on Amazon. I mean, no, I don't. Like, just like, it's like, no, it's just like, you're gonna lose. Like, it's just like, it's that simple. Do I trade puts on AMC? I'm gonna tell you guys too. I've traded puts on AMC and GME combined of 3 times. One time in January, before GME blew up, I had like $500 on a put. I lost it instantly. And I was like, okay, probably never gonna short Reddit again. So I went long on AMC like the night before it ran to 20. I have the video saved too, so I can always, just so people don't get all their pants and panties in a twist. I keep that one saved in the books. And then I made money. I was like, wow, you can make 400% on an option. Things are pretty interesting. And then I think I had puts after like 70, after I made a whole bunch of money, and I sold at 50. I sold basically everything that I had on AMC around 56. I had a few shares, but it was like, I made enough money that it didn't bother me. I was just like, whatever. If people unfollowed me, whatever, they get all mad. And then I had some puts there, and I lost again because it bounced back up. I was like, dude, this stupid thing. I was like, if there's one thing I learned in 2021, I was like, it's like, don't fade the crazy apes. Like, just, don't do it. Why? Because typically something bad happens. I was just like, whatever, I'm not gonna do it. And then I think I traded puts like really recent. And I lost again. And I posted in Discord too. I was like, guys, if y'all ever see me taking GameStop or an AMC put, you all get a free month of Discord. Everyone gets free Discord. I deserve to be punished if I ever touch that thing again. And so like now it's an ongoing joke. Everyone's like, hey, you thinking about getting some of those puts on AMC? I'm like, never again. But as far as what was my mentality there? My mentality there was only to make money. It wasn't this was going to help push up or down. And when I'm looking at the market in general, I think there's better plays for downside. And I'm always looking at it as a risk to reward standpoint. So if I'm looking at a trade, I'm looking at it from a perspective of what's my risk? Like I was telling Gabe, when I go to TOS now, it shows you your low of the day on those option contracts. So if I'm getting into an option and the low of the day is at $2 for a contract, I'm getting it at $2.20. I'm very close to the low of the day, which says my risk is pretty low. And the high might be $10. So the risk reward it's very large, right? The potential right there to gain money. And so I'm always looking at what is the risk, what is the reward. And when I'm looking at like something like AMC or GME, there's always more reward, I feel like, personally, to the upside than there is to the downside, unless you go on these parabolic runs. So the time to grab puts on AMC, if I was going to do it, would have been at like $32 or $30 or $26, right? When you were just going parabolic. But like, even when I'm looking at options value, it's just not worth it to me based on IV. So when I'm looking to grab puts, I'm looking at something like, something that's moving more stable, like, Apple or Amazon or something like that, just so I can like overall hedge my account. And it's important to realize too, the times that AMC are going down, it's moving down because of why? Because the whole stock market is going down. It's not moving down because like, these short ladder attacks. If I just pull up a chart, you can see like in comparison and correlation with the SPY, it's moving the same. And you know what? It's like, it's really crazy that people are like, well, Tyler, you're just saying that because so-and-so said that. I'm like, bro, I've been saying the same thing for over a year. People were like, well, when the market crashes, AMC is going to go crazy. I told everyone in the beginning, I was like, that is the stupidest statement I've ever heard. That is just stupid. Why? Like, where's the logic? Like, they're like, well, there's a liquidity crisis, Tyler, and they're gonna get short. They're gonna get killed. I'm like, bro, like, no, that's no, it's not gonna happen like that. Guess what happened? November, you started to see a top. You started dropping hard. You came back in December, AMC did not follow, GME did not follow, and when you went down, and you crashed. I
Yeah.
mean, like not crashed, but you went from $50 down to $13. So I guess technically you crashed. I don't know, but you went down hard. And what happened though? You just follow the SPY down. It was not rocket science. It's not, don't make it harder than it needs to be. It's the answer was in front of you. You know what I mean? Like
Should
it
have
was
sold at
right.
60.
It's like, yeah, it's like
That's
the answer was in front of you, right? And so that's just my viewpoint when I'm looking at it. But as far as like puts on AMC, personally, I just don't trade them. One, because I'm gonna be transparent too. I never really trade them too because I never wanted people to have like a reason to like hold over my head and say Tyler's fake, he's this, he's that. And that's why you don't see people like call me out on Twitter, is because they can't. Because there's no thing of me ever scamming anyone or lying to anyone or fake taking a trade. If people are asking about a trade or a loss, I'm like, bro, I posted a $15,000. That's the biggest loss I took last year. It was a $15,000 loss I took on Exxon in near the beginning of the year. And I posted it. I was like, well, what do I have to lose? Like, I'm being honest, like whatever. So it's like when I'm looking at that, like I always want to have like a transparent background so people can never come back against me and like use it against me. But like when I took my put, I posted, I was like, I lost money on it, whatever, I don't care. But it's just like I know like it's not going to help the upward movement. Like there's just no, I don't think that there's like logic there. Now, again, does that mean that I hate the person that said it was, whether it be Astro? I don't really like know Astro or anything like that. I don't know anything about him. It's like he doesn't trade like I trade. I trade non-emotional. I try to be as unemotional as possible. I try to treat like I'm in like a relationship with like a woman, no emotion whatsoever, right? Just zero emotion. Like it's just like in and out. I'm trying to make money. It's like at the end of the day, it's all it's about. And so it's like it's okay to be wrong too. Like, and that's the thing that you have to be like okay with, right? So again, it's no hate at anyone. It's just like I think that is a false statement. I think that you're not going to help the move. But if you want to make money, I mean, yeah, you trade it both ways, I guess. But I think there's better opportunities out there. And that's going to be my statement forever. Is like, if I'm looking at trading stuff to the downside, I don't want to trade something that there's a large community behind constantly saying, buy, 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 buy. Why? I mean, it's just like, why would I want to do that for myself? To me, I'm just like, pass. And if I'm going to, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it when it starts hitting tops. You know what I mean? Once it starts going up like $20 at a time, that's the time you get the puts, is whenever you're going crazy and ballistic. You know, you don't grab them when you're buying the bottom, you're selling, you know what I mean? You're buying the top, you're selling the bottom at that point. It's just like, why would I do that?
Yeah. Tyler, what's your hooker's name?
My what?
Your hooker's name. The one that gave you that cough. What's her name?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, baby.
Listen, man. You know, guys, we got people here from the Discord, and that's something I talk about every fucking day, is just detaching yourself from emotions, right? The minute you get emotion involved, you're fucked, right? Because your emotions are then speaking to you and telling you how it's okay to be a fucking idiot. No, you take those emotions, you take them off the table. But we're going to say adios to Tyler. He's got to run. And he was just about to type that shit to me. I saw his fingers. I saw his hands.
Yeah, I was about to have to type it. But yeah, it was good. It was good. And like, this is like the point now for me, is like, it's just like to share like real knowledge and stuff on the, like on stocks and stuff. That's what I enjoy doing. And it's like, I feel like anyone that's like, I'm big on like do what you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like if you enjoy talking about AMC every day, talk about it every day. But for me, it's just like, I feel like I'm not helping nobody. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying in general to people. And it's just like, I mean, you barely make videos anymore, but like, as far as it goes, like just do like, do what you want. Like, don't be stuck or afraid of, if you're going to lose followers. For me, like, I don't really care if I lose. I mean, like my views dropped by, almost like 80%. Make videos because I like making videos. I like helping people. You know what I mean? That's why I told people, I was like, bro, if you unfollow me because I stopped making AMC videos, have fun. You're still gonna wake up tomorrow. You're still gonna be as poor as you were the day before, and I'm still gonna be making your salary in like a week. Like I don't really care. Like, you know what I mean? That's the viewpoint that I have. It's whatever. I mean, that's why people are happy in the Discord. People are happy on Twitter. People are happy that follow me every day on YouTube. I'm like, that's all that matters for me. And so as far as me, that's kind of the path that I'm taking right now. And I kind of encourage everyone, like, just do in the long run what's going to make you happy and really bring you the most joy and kind of fulfillment and with whatever you're working on.
That's dope. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for joining me. There's a reason why I have this man on my channel. It's the second time. I don't think I've ever done No, no, I've actually had this man on my channel more times than I've slept with the same woman. So, um, guys, listen, let's give Option Drops a round of applause. Check him out at Option Drops on Twitter. And then you got Option Drops, Tyler Wilson, investing on YouTube, correct?
Yep,
Um,
yep, yep. It'll pop
Yep.
up
So make
somewhere.
sure you follow this kid. This kid's got a bright future, and let's applaud that, right? No, there's no fucks given. There's no bullshit in what he does, and he's a real one, guys. So make sure you guys follow him.
You guys have a good one.
All right, brother. You have a good one, man.
I'm out of here.
Peace. All right. So he's gonna go ahead and deal with that cough, and for some reason, I'm just getting the vibe, that her name was Margarita, right? Yeah, she's the one that gave him that cough. Anyway, guys, make sure you guys check out his channel. He's a real one, guys. Look at, you know, I hold AMC, right? I don't care if it goes, it goes, it goes. I'm not. My life is not sitting in a fucking standstill waiting for it to go. But guys, look at this. Ain't a contest of who has the biggest dick. There's a contest of making money. So if it makes sense for you, it makes sense for you. Okay. Like, seriously, the shows are going to come in and, talk shit or whatever. And, just go and suck on your mother's nipple. Really. I'm really that serious. If you're going to be that emotional about a particular stock, that tells me everything about you. It tells me you're not making shit in the markets because the market does not tolerate emotional estrogen, testosterone imbalance motherfuckers. It just doesn't. Anyways, guys, this is Gabe with ReviewDork. You know how we do. It's 1348 for life, 1348 gang in the house. We had a lot of fun today. We had a lot of fun on the live stream earlier with the premium members, showing you guys how to fucking print, right? Listen, there's a thin line between uh, perception and reality, right? It's a very thin line. Just got to decide, if you want to go ahead and punch a hole through that thin piece of paper and really see the truth for yourself. It's really that fucking simple.